In the start, there was only empty space, but then a continent rose up. On it, 9 different groups of people came to be: the dragon kin, the elves, the oni, the dwarves, the demons, the dark elves, the centaurs, the beast kin, and the humans. The scene then moves to a small country town. A young boy with a bag on his back says goodbye to his family on an old rock bridge. He shouts their names: Mom, Dad, Els, and Yum as he waves happily. Full of excitement and with a bright smile, he walks off along a dirt road that leads to an unknown future. His goal is a big, busy city which is very different from his home in the country. As soon as he gets to the narrow, packed streets, he feels lost and unsure. He finally reaches his goal, a large guild hall that towers over the central city square. Inside, he goes up to a sign-up counter, where a kind worker greets him with a warm smile. She asks him about his special power, and the worker is clearly surprised when he calls his power Unlimited Gacha and asks for a clearer explanation. Feeling sure of himself, the boy offers to show her his power. He holds out his hand, and a shiny, crystal object appears above his palm. He says that this is how he rolls his gacha. The object glows, and a card forms in his hand. On it is a bent fork, labeled as useless for human use. Right after, the useless fork also appears on the counter. The boy tries to fix things, saying that this is just a bad try. He tries again. The crystal glows once more, but the result is no better. A rotten apple and a piece of moldy bread join the bent fork. The boy is crushed and whispers that his power doesn't usually fail like this. The worker is not impressed. She gives him a paper and tells him that F rank is likely the best he can hope for, the lowest rank for an adventurer. Even with this bad start, the boy doesn't want to quit and asks the worker for a job. She explains that the easiest jobs are posted on the notice board. However, when he stares in confusion at the crowded board, where many other adventurers are already gathered around the papers, the worker sees his problem. She asks if he has trouble reading and notes that the number of humans who can't read is quite high. Since he can't read the jobs, she offers him easy, hands-on work, getting wood, moving dirt, or digging up grass. The boy takes the offer right away. The next scene shows him doing hard physical labor. He drags huge piles of wood out of the forest and carries heavy baskets full of dirt, clearly tired from the work he's not used to. In the evening, he walks through the dimly lit streets of the city and looks at his small pay, a little bag with a few copper coins. He sighs, because a whole day of hard work has only earned him enough for a place to sleep for one night. Suddenly, in a dark side street, he meets a group of wolf-like figures. The group's leader angrily confronts him and accuses him of getting his clothes dirty. In the quick fight, the boy's bag of coins falls to the ground. The leader of the wolf-like creatures picks up the small bag and announces with a cruel smile that this is just enough to pay his cleaning bill. The young man looks on with pure shock and fear. A moment later, he lies on the ground, beaten down by the thugs. They mock him, saying that with this small change, he'd be lucky to rent a pigsty. Finally, they leave him there and tell him to sleep with the rest of the trash in the gutter. As the boy lies hurt on the ground, a figure steps out of the shadows, a blonde elf woman in a green cloak. She has been watching the whole time. She goes to him and holds out her hand to help him up. At first, the boy flinches, afraid of another hit. He apologizes wildly, but the elf calms him with a gentle smile that she won't hurt him. She kneels down next to him on the dirty ground and hugs him in a comforting way. The boy is shocked. He is deeply moved by her action, because an elf is getting her knees dirty for him, a simple human. People watching in the alley whisper in surprise at the sight of an elf and a human together. After helping him to his feet, she introduces him to her group, who step out of the shadows. It is a colorful mix of different groups who call themselves the Concord of Tribes. A grim-looking wolf man named Garu steps forward and explains that this is the name of their group, which stands for all 9 races created by the goddess. One by one, the members introduce themselves: Sasha, the elf who helped him; Diablo, a demon kin; Abaro, an oni folk; and Santor, a centaur. The group explains to him that they only need one more human to be the perfect adventuring team. A dark-skinned elf explains the good goal of their community. They want to end race hatred and make a fair world for everyone. The boy is deeply touched by this idea and asks, not quite believing, whether a world without prejudice is truly possible. The group says yes, confirming that they need someone like him to reach this goal. A large, dragon-like fighter holds out his hand to him as a sign of invitation. Filled with the feeling of being needed and by the hope for a better world, the young man accepts the invitation with a bright smile. A short time later, the newly formed group is on a job. They walk through a dark, underground cave place under an unsettling purple sky. This is the Abyss, the biggest and most dangerous dungeon in the world. Suddenly, a giant, snake-like monster attacks. Our small hero, named Light, freezes in panic. Sasha, the elf, warns him just in time to bend down before she kills the monster with a well-aimed arrow. She scolds him for not being careful and makes it clear to to him that in the abyss, the smallest mistake means instant death. The other group members watch the scene with amusement. Garou, the wolf man, teases Sasha, saying that she can't hide her worry about Light, and she immediately turns red. Sasha, clearly embarrassed, strongly denies this. She claims that her concern is not for Light personally, but for the good name of the Concord of Tribes, which could be hurt by the loss of a member. Light obediently agrees with her professional explanation in order to calm the situation. The mood brightens again. The dragon-like leader of the group praises Light and tells him that he loves the tea Light makes for them. The group decides to take a rest, and Light immediately offers to make tea, while he is busily getting the cups and pots and apologizing for the slight delay. The rest of the group gathers behind him. The feel of the scene suddenly changes. In a cold voice, the dragon-like leader announces that he is kicking Light out of the group. Right now, Light is stunned. He doesn't understand what's happening and asks, confused, for the reason. The leader only repeats his words without giving in. The truth is revealed. One by one, the members of the Concord of Tribes show their true, hateful feelings toward Light. Garou explains to him with a nasty grin that he is now useless to them. Sasha, who just saved him, calls him stupid and annoying. Other members complain about his smell and say they're happy to finally be rid of him. Light can't believe it and asks if this is just a bad joke. The group laughs at him. They wouldn't have time to go so deep into the dungeon for a trick. Finally, Garou reveals the real reason for his joining them in the first place. Their bosses were interested in his special power, the unlimited gacha. The group cruelly explains the whole truth. They were told to watch Light to find out if he was the legendary Maestro, since their leaders decided that he wasn't. He is now nothing more than dead weight to them. Sasha and the other elf show their complete disgust at the thought that they might have had to marry him to secure the blood of a maestro if he had passed the test. Light is completely overwhelmed by the words maestro and superiors. When the leader realizes that his people have said too much, Garou dismisses the worry. It doesn't matter, because the boy won't be able to talk much longer anyway. They have been ordered to stop any possible problems right away, and that means not letting Light live. The group surrounds Light. They have clear orders to kill him. Garou grins and starts the attack. His claws rake across Light's cheek, leaving deep, bleeding cuts. Shocked and in pain, Light touches his wound. He tries to run away in a panic, but the group chases him for the pure joy of it. Garou yells after him that he'll end up as monster food in the abyss anyway. Sasha adds mockingly that they won't let him get away in the first place. The group enjoys his suffering. Garou raves about how much he loves hunting humans. Sasha agrees with him and compares the screams of their victims to sweet music. They urge Light, who is lying on the ground, to scream even louder for them. The cruel torture continues. Garou kicks the helpless Light, while Sasha warns him not to leave any injuries that would contradict their planned cover story, a surprise monster attack. Light digs his fingers into the dirt as he struggles on the ground. He begs not to die, which only makes his tormentors even more excited. Another arrow hits him in the leg. In his fear of death and hopelessness, Light screams that he wants to live. At that moment, a huge purple magic circle suddenly lights up beneath him. One of the attackers sees the danger and shouts that it is a teleport trap. Garou jumps at Light to kill him before he can escape, but it is too late. A blinding flash of light, and Light is gone. He finds himself alone, badly hurt and bleeding, in another, even deeper part of the dungeon. He knows that teleportation has only put off his fate. As soon as he meets one of the monsters down here, he's dead. Desperate, he calls out for his family and wonders what he has done to deserve all this. A quick memory shows him the happy moments with the Concord of Tribes, the time when he valued, respected, and believed in them. But the memory breaks as he realizes the hard truth. It was all a lie. His pain turns into burning hate. He remembers the betrayal, the shame, and the orders to kill him. He vows to make them all pay. He will not die before they have paid for what they did. At that moment, two huge, monstrous creatures appear from the darkness. Snake hellhounds, monsters that are usually only heard of in stories. Light realizes that he has been teleported to the deepest, most dangerous part of the abyss, facing certain death. He holds on to his need for revenge. He cannot and will not die here yet. In his final desperation, Light risks everything. His power, the unlimited gacha. He screams out his frustration and uses the power with his last bit of strength. The magic object in his hands explodes in a blinding light, surrounded by glowing symbols. A new figure appears from the energy. A young woman with black hair and a strong look appears. She says that she will show no mercy to those who threaten her master. With a lightning-fast move, she destroys one of the hellhounds. She steps completely out of the light, a woman in a hot maid's uniform. She kneels down next to the injured Light, and a soft green light heals his wounds. She apologizes deeply. She couldn't stand to see his beautiful face ruined by such terrible wounds. Light is stunned. Not only is he unhurt, but the pain has completely gone away. Confused, Light asks the mysterious woman who she is. She formally asks him for his name. When he shyly stammers Light, she repeats the name with respect and calls him Master Light. She explains that, following the maid's code of honor, she is now tied to him until death and promises him complete loyalty. Light is completely overwhelmed by this sudden dedication. He asks again about her identity. She introduces herself as May, the ever-seeking maid with the unbelievable level of 9999. She tells him that she is a super ultra rare card from his unlimited gacha. Light can't believe it, his worthless power has created something so powerful. May swears eternal loyalty to Light with poetic words. Light disagrees, saying that his gacha power is worthless and that it is impossible for someone as amazing as her to have come from it. May insists that he call her by her name. After a short pause, he agrees. May then asks for permission to use her natural power, Appraisal, to check the details of his gift. She explains that his powers are hidden by a strong shield that only someone at her level can see through. May starts her check. She reveals that Light's unlimited gacha is anything but worthless. He can use it an endless number of times, and the quality of the cards drawn depends on how thick the magic energy mana is around him. She lists a whole range of quality levels, from error to super ultra rare. Mana, she explains, flows all over the world, but its concentration is lowest on the surface. That's why it was almost impossible to draw a rare card like hers there. Down here in the abyss, however, where the mana is thick and powerful, his chances are much higher. She praises him for making it to the bottom of the dungeon on his own and unlocking his full potential. But she also warns him that with his current stats, he would die instantly if he met monsters. But he shouldn't be afraid, because from now on, she will always be by his side. These words break his control. Overwhelmed by a mix of pain and new hope, Light bursts into tears. He cries and tells the whole story of the betrayal, how his own friends almost killed him and called him worthless. He cries about the fake nature of their supposed noble goals and the unbearable pain they caused him. May listens with a serious, caring look. When Light finishes his emotional outburst, she hugs him in a comforting way. She may not fully understand his pain, but she assures him that revenge is a simple matter with her power next to him. She urges him to give the order and swears on her honor as a maid to hunt down his treacherous enemies and bring their heads before him. May helps Light to his feet. He still holds the bloody arrow in his hand, a symbol of his betrayal. He looks at May with determination. He declares that he was weak, but now he must become stronger. He wants to carry out the revenge with his own hands. He asks her if she thinks this is just a dream. May responds with complete loyalty. His wish is her wish. If he wants personal revenge, she will help him achieve that goal, because she believes in his potential more than anything else. Relieved and thankful, Light smiles, with new courage and a powerful ally by his side. He rolls his unlimited gacha again, but this time, he has a clear goal. He wants to create a kingdom that will pave the way for his revenge. 3 years later, we again see the abyss, but deep inside, a large fortress city with many levels has been built. Its buildings are made of sharp, spiky metal, giving it a dark and unearthly feeling. In a grand hall inside this fortress, dozens of maids are bowing deeply, all together in perfect unison. Their eyes are closed, their poses showing the deepest respect. A young man with a confident smile walks between the rows of bowing women. He wears a black and white uniform and holds a highly decorated staff with red ribbons. This is Light, and he has become a completely different man. Next to him is Mai, the first powerful card he had rolled using his gacha. The maids whisper their gratitude to him, thanking the master profusely. One of them, a girl with brown hair, is so happy she can barely contain it when the master speaks to her for a moment. She holds her cheeks, unable to believe her good fortune, because today is truly her lucky day. Her friends are just as excited. A blonde maid jokes that they must have used up all their luck for the day. Another gushes about how cool the master is, while a third, with an almost crazy look in her eyes, says she wants to sniff his toes. This extreme admiration clearly annoys the master's companion. With veins popping out on her forehead in anger, she asks her master for permission to punish these noisy girls. But the young man, whom everyone calls Master Light, stays calm. With a steady smile, he explains that he doesn't mind, adding that they just liked him. Later, Master Light and his companion walk through the city's busy streets. The people who live there, from shop owners to people just passing by, greet him with deep respect. A shop owner rushes over, pleading with him to try his new food. Light's popularity is clear to see. In a small shop, a saleswoman sadly tells him that they only have a few kinds of snacks left. His companion immediately tells her that she will take care of getting more. As they walk up a stone staircase, Light asks about the progress of his followers, known as the 999ers. His companion reports that they are all doing their best in their assigned areas. A holographic map appears, showing a small girl with cat ears and blue hair named Aoyuki. She is exploring the area around the abyss and making a map. Light is pleased, remarking that the forests there are full of monsters. His companion replies that this shouldn't be a problem for a master animal tamer like Aoyuki, even if she is as moody as a cat. Light just smiles, remarking that was just Aoyuki's nature. He then asks about the plan involving someone named Ellie. Another holographic map appears, this time showing a blonde woman in a witch's hat. She is working hard to create new spells for his plan. Light notes with satisfaction that the plans are moving forward on many fronts at the same time. Finally, he wants to know about Mizuna. His companion tells him that she is making her rounds in the castle. Another map appears, showing Mizuna as an ancestor vampire knight with an impressive rank of 999. She is a talented close-range fighter, but other than that, his companion pauses for a moment before adding that Mizuna is especially good at encouraging others. The scene changes to Mizuna herself, posing confidently in a beautiful golden hall with her eye-catching white hair and armor. Light and his companion are walking down the same fancy hallway, where a muscular, blonde man with a bare chest and a red cape is waiting for them. He greets them, stating that he was expecting them. Light's companion immediately scolds him, insisting that he always address Light as Master, but the muscular man, who introduces himself as Jack, brushes it off. He says it's fine and that he is okay with how Light talks. Light grins, expressing his agreement. Jack says that he wants to train. The scene suddenly changes to a dark, rocky cave. Here, Light and Jack face each other, ready to fight. Jack challenges him, saying he is ready whenever Light is. Light shoots back that he was about to say the same thing. He winds up and hits Jack hard in the chest. The force of the blow is visible, but Jack stands firm as dust blows around his feet. He laughs and brags that Light should take it easy, claiming the only reason he could withstand the blow was because he was so awesome. He boasted that anyone else would have dropped dead. Unbothered, Light declares that he had told Jack he was being serious. With a determined look, he hits him again with an even stronger blow. Meanwhile, Mizuna is patrolling the empty halls of the castle by herself, muttering to herself that there was nothing to see. She finds a group of 4 maids cleaning the hallway. To explain why she's there, she claims to be on patrol, an important job given to her by the master. The maids are instantly impressed. One exclaims how amazing Miss Mizuna is. Another adds that they feel safe as long as Mizuna is watching over them. Flattered by the sudden praise, Mizuna blushes and asks them not to praise her so much. She asks the maids where the patrol should go next, but then admits she doesn't know herself. The maids see their chance. With folded hands and deep bows, they plead with her to check a very specific place, an important and very secret place that they couldn't go near themselves. Mizuna thinks for a moment while the maids grin secretly behind her back. Their plan seems to be working. Mizuna walks up to a large, fancy wooden door. There, she unexpectedly runs into May, the head maid. May asks her what she is doing in front of Master Light's room. Mizuna cheerfully says she is on patrol and then asks what May is doing in the master's room. May explains that the master is not there because he is training with Jack. She has to clean the room, because doing nothing just because the master is away would go against her honor as a maid. May lets Mizuna in and hints that she knows what Mizuna was really trying to do. She asks with a teasing voice if Mizuna had planned to roll around on the master's bed, smell the sheets, and kick her legs in the air. She added reassuringly that she had her own secret way of making beds. Mizuna is immediately excited, exclaiming about the real secret technique and concluding that it was no wonder the master had chosen May first. May thinks to herself that she's lucky Mizuna is so simple-minded. But then Mizuna remembers something. The maids gave her a message. She pulls out 2 pieces of paper and reads them out loud. It is a formal complaint against the head maid for keeping the master's room all to herself. The maids demand the right to help with the cleaning too, and are clearly against the head maid acting on her own. Mizuna finishes reading with a wide grin and adds that there's something else at the end. A wish for the head maid to be cursed 3 times. May is clearly annoyed, but Mizuna doesn't understand the fuss. May explains that this is an issue between her, the head maid, and the other maids. As thanks for delivering the message, She gives Nazuna a little bit of money. Nazuna is thrilled with the reward and promises to be available anytime. Cheering, she leaves the room and goes into the city to buy something with the money. She decides to get chocolate, pastries, and chips. Later, Nazuna sits happily on a balcony eating her snacks when Aoyuki appears in a hooded cloak. Nazuna asks if she isn't supposed to be exploring the forests around the abyss. Aoyuki just smiles, looking embarrassed. Not understanding her, Nazuna offers to chop down the trees for her or defeat a strong monster. Aoyuki explains with a sigh that there are no enemies. She has finished the map Mei wanted and is now bringing it to her. Nazuna is annoyed by Aoyuki's indirect way of speaking and calls her weird before saying goodbye to continue her patrol. Alone on the balcony, Aoyuki starts to daydream. She imagines herself sitting on a grand throne made of ice, eating dorayaki. But then she realizes she hasn't seen the master at all today. She misses him and imagines how cool he would look on that throne, screaming in her fantasy that she wanted to see him. Meanwhile, Light and Jack are relaxing in a fancy bathhouse after their training. Jack praises Light, saying that even in the abyss, there won't be many who can fight him. Light stays humble, replying that you never know what kind of people are out there. He won't underestimate anyone, partly so he can get his revenge on them. His look shows a deep, hidden resolve. Back at the castle, the head maid Mei has called the 4 rebellious maids to the library. She asks them if they know why they are there. The maids pretend not to know, but Mei confronts them directly with the cursed complaint letter. The maids try to make excuses, saying they only wanted to help because Mei is so busy. However, Mei is furious that they sent the naive Nazuna of all people to do their dirty work. An argument starts among the maids, with each one blaming the others. Mei stops the argument and announces their punishment. They have to clean the long hallway leading to the throne room and do it all by hand. The maids are horrified, exclaiming that it was impossible for just them to do it. But Mei stands firm, lecturing them that the path of a maid began with a single step, and that one only reached level 500 through work. She herself must go to the surface for Master Light and expects them to work hard while she is gone. Meanwhile, Nazuna meets the blonde witch Ellie in the city. Ellie makes fun of Nazuna for supposedly being stupid, so Nazuna gets offended and tries to prove she is smart by reciting the multiplication tables and fails badly. The argument gets worse when Ellie accuses Nazuna of being a bigger airhead than she thought. Nazuna fights back by bragging about her last meeting with Master Light, where they drank tea and discussed plans. She even hints that next time, a dinner for 2 is planned in his room, where they would stay up all night. Ellie's jealousy exploded, and she cried out that she also wanted to drink tea with the master, repeating her desire emphatically. Nazuna enjoys her victory before surprisingly taking a friendly tone. She admits that while Ellie is good at magic, she is weak in close combat, and offers her help anytime. Ellie gratefully accepts the offer. The 4 punished maids are sitting in their room, complaining about their bad luck. They are jealous and angry about the head maid keeping the master's room all to herself. One even suggests poisoning her, but another dismisses the idea that woman is immune to everything. Their unhappiness turns into strange fantasies. They also want to clean the master's room, smell his mattress, and even lick his used fork. Their jealousy grows into a wild outburst, wishing for the head maid to explode and talking about that if only their curse had worked. At this moment, they hear a voice state that destruction had come because they had called for it. The head maid is suddenly standing in the doorway. She explains that their prayers reached her on her way out. The maids freeze in fear. One of them immediately promises to be loyal to her forever, calling herself her puppy. But Mei clears up the misunderstanding, explaining that in the 3 months before Aoyuki was chosen, Master Light had just been studying books from around the world to learn fighting styles and had no time to fulfill their dirty fantasies. The maids are embarrassed but also relieved. Mei admits that she came back because she thought her order was too harsh, but seeing the maids' lack of gratitude, she changes her mind, telling them that since they were never satisfied, they could have the throne room too. The maids are heartbroken, crying out that it was completely impossible for just the 4 of them. But Mei only repeats her lesson about the path of a maid beginning with a single step. That night, the 4 begin the seemingly endless job of cleaning the massive throne room. They complain about the head maid's cruelty, saying they just wanted to vent. While they are working, the wing of a golden statue accidentally breaks off, which has been already broken by Nazuna previously. Nazuna lies tired in her bed. Her armor and sword are on the floor. She has kept the peace in the abyss, but is disappointed because she hasn't seen the master all day. Half asleep, she murmurs that if she were allowed, she would totally wreck everyone on the surface. Finally, she falls asleep with a smile, wishing the master a good night. In a dark cave, Light gathers his most loyal companions, Nazuna, Ellie, and little Ayuki. He has come to see them, and Nazuna's dream has come true. Ellie and Aoyuki immediately start competing for his attention and making fun of Nazuna. Suddenly, a huge, two-headed hellhound appears. But after getting scared of the 3 high-level maids protecting Light, it bows before them, and Light pets it like a puppy. Light explains that Mei has told him that the preparations are finished. The girls cheer that it was finally starting. Together, the group steps in front of a glowing portal. The scene changes to a new, unfamiliar city called Akira, the capital of the wolf people in the Beastkin Federation. The streets are full of life as a group of impressive wolf warriors clears a path. Their leader, a muscular wolf man with a blue mane and scars on his face named Goru, steps forward. It's the same guy who slashed and humiliated Light before. With a threatening grin, he looks into the crowd. As Goru walks through the streets with his followers, he is cheered on by the other beast people, and is even sometimes asked if he wants to have kids with the wolf baddies. On his walk, he sees a little boy digging sadly in the trash. He throws him aside and spits on him as if he were a little worm. They enter a bar and Goru knocks back a few drinks, while he allows his followers to taste a little of the food, which he could afford with his full pockets. They all would love to be as cool as the boss, but it isn't that easy. After all, you need a good nose for good jobs, which only the beast folk have. After that, one of the dogs asks if the Concord of Tribes job belongs to one of these good jobs. But the idiot is quickly told by another idiot that Goru isn't allowed to talk about it. Goru calmly agrees that the Federation has unfortunately told him not to talk about it and orders his little slaves to keep drinking and eating, which they of course do. Goru thinks to himself that it was the easiest job ever to kill this weak human child, whom they at first believed to be the maestro. Still, the part that they might never find Light again after he was teleported away bothers him a little, even if he's sure that he died in this dungeon. The thought of not knowing who the real maestro is bothers him too, but he knows that it is far too risky to go deeper down that rabbit hole. Soon after, a good-looking maid enters the bar and stops the talking, and all eyes are looking at her. We then see this shady group leading the pretty girl into the same deep pit they had led Light into before. In a brief flashback, we see the girl ask if he is Goru, a past member of the Concord of Tribes. The followers are just about to talk to her, but Goru acts completely relaxed and asks what the baddie wants here. She introduces herself as Mei, Light's most loyal maid. She says that she has been searching for Light for a long time, who is a member of a noble family, after he disappeared without a trace. Goru finds it weird that this wasn't found out about him, but sees it as a great chance to get more information and to mess with the girl as well. Mei keeps talking that she heard he had joined a guild and then perished in a dungeon. Mei would like to personally see the last place Light was last seen and asks if the group can escort her to this place. Goru is unsure at first, but when Mei pulls out 3 fat gold bars, his greedy ass quickly agrees to her offer. He sees no risk in this plan because a girl with big melons like that couldn't do anything against a beast like him anyway. He keeps spouting crap that it's not about the money at all, but that Light was something like a brother to him, and he would be happy to do it. Mei shouldn't worry at all, because Goru is, after all, the future leader of the wolf tribe, and he would round up his strongest followers to escort her delicate body through the dungeon. Mei pretends how thankful she is that this disgusting, stinking wolf would do that for her. Back in the present, we again see the group guiding Mei through the abyss, while Goru imagines what terrible things he will do to Mei in front of Light's grave. Finally, they get to that exact place, and Goru says that they were attacked here by a group of monsters. Light's face was cut, and he then ran into a magic travel trap, and after that he was never found again. Mei drops down onto this place, mourning, and Goru keeps going with his talk about feeling sorry, while his group of followers is already closing off the exits. Goru is excited for what's about to happen and keeps talking about how he feels bad that he could not keep Light safe. But all of a sudden, Mei stops pretending and says that she would have liked to work for him earlier, as she could have kept him safe from terrible people like this and could have stopped Light from being kicked and shot at with arrows. Surprised, Goru jumps back and fearfully asks himself how the hell she knows about this secret plan. He yells at her, asking if she is a spy, but Mei stands up and answers that she only serves Light fully, while warning them that their guts will soon all be on the floor. Goru and his followers can't understand why a shiver is running down their spines and why they are scared of some cheeks and melons. Energy starts to come from her direction, and before Mei can even do anything, Goru has already wet his pants and knows that he is dead. But right at that moment, Light shows up from the other side of the cave and tells Mei to let him handle these disgusting beasts. The beasts can't fathom how a normal human could get so deep into the deep pit. Goru, on the other hand, freezes at this sight. sight. His fears are proven when Light takes off his hood, and Garou understands that this little bastard was actually able to somehow survive alone in this dangerous place. Light happily says that he is excited to pay everything back to him with 3 years interest, and the Beast Group wants to know what the hell is going on here and asks Garou for an explanation. Garou, on the other hand, starts to laugh that a pathetic level 15 human has come to fight a level 150 badass like him. After that, Garou goes right back to his usual Garou self and talks about how he will kill Light, while Light just watches, bored. Light finds it weird that Garou doesn't even ask how the hell he managed to stay alive alone and what May is all about, something someone with an IQ over 70 would do. But Garou just keeps talking about how the beast folk are too strong for humans, and they just have no chance against them. While having wet pants, he couldn't do anything with his useless gacha and only stayed alive because he was lucky that May helped him. Garou tells his team to attack, and we all know what happens next. 2 seconds later, we see the heads of these 2 beasts flying through the air, and May is standing right in front of Light, now in her normal outfit, and warns that anyone who is brave enough to attack Light will have their head cut off. Light just thanks her like it was nothing and politely asks May if she could close off the other ways out, which she does while blushing. The other beasts are now sweating bullets after they couldn't even see how 2 of their followers had their heads cut off. Garou somehow tries to keep their spirits up, but the situation is very bad. Rightly, Light sees that Garou has not changed at all because he still believes that humans are useless, but Garou insults him again and says that humans are just useless garbage with low mana, and he will show him what true power looks like. We see that Garou has a LVL of 158, and Light says that levels vary a lot based on race, which leads to a lot of unfair treatment and hate towards humans. Garou, the idiot, keeps saying that he is better, but when asked what happened to his 2 friends earlier, he can't find a good reason either. He thinks Light must have somehow cheated with magic. After some time of intense eye contact, the beasts run at Light, but are knocked to the ground one after the other by hard hits. While Garou is still trying to catch his breath, Light is already standing over him like a psycho and asks if that's all the power he has. It seems this still isn't enough humiliation, because he insults Light again, stands up, and gets ready for round 3. He shows his secret weapon, a magic animal named Fenrir with the high level of 500. His followers are amazed by this weapon, but Light can only sigh and is let down by this low level. Garou thinks Light is wetting his pants in fear, but it's the other way around. He dares Garou to attack him with all his power, while he won't move a single step. Garou then uses his most powerful skill, the Magic Beast Howl, and a very big purple beam of energy shoots directly at Light. But after the dust clears, Light is standing there, unfazed, and Garou's eyes almost pop out of his head. The only thing that happened is that Light's coat got a little dirty. The last drop of hope seems to be slowly draining from Garou and his followers, as no normal human should be able to live through such an attack. Now it's Light's turn, and he shows his secret weapon, a LVL 9000 ultra rare card, Primal God Fenrir. Unlike Garou's little puppy, this card is powerful enough to be called Fenrir, and in the blue light, a majestic blue wolf shows up behind Light. Garou freezes completely, while his strange wolf literally freezes and shatters into many small pieces after Light orders his card to kill it. This sight finally breaks Garou and his troop. He cannot believe that Light possesses a magical beast which could annihilate his Fenrir within seconds. Light, on the other hand, answers calmly that he could have managed that alone, and then reveals his true level for the first time, 9999. Garou can't believe his eyes and is already lying curled up on the ground. Previously, he thought that humans could only reach a maximum of level 100, and he begins to believe that Light isn't the real Light at all, but must be an imposter. A normal human would have aged or grown, but Light reveals that he intentionally wore the bracelet of youth so as not to forget the pain and suffering he had endured. Garou finally realizes that it is indeed Light, and that he has become overpowered. It dawns on him that he doesn't stand the slightest chance against such a monstrosity, and he decides that his last option is to fall to his knees in front of his friends and beg for forgiveness. He was forced by the Federation to follow orders and also tries to blame today's mission on his henchmen. Like a pathetic little puppy, he apologizes to Master Light and begs for forgiveness. But Light only wants to know one single thing, what this Maestro thing is all about. He also asks why the government is so desperate to find the Maestro and why they wanted to kill him after they knew it wasn't him. Suddenly, Garou has no idea about anything anymore. Light asks his followers, who apparently know everything, but after Mei notices that they are lying, they are all shredded into meat cubes in an instant. Then Mei asks the last pathetic loser if he believes they could win a war on the surface with their powers. Light also warns that Mei can detect his lies immediately and that he better tell the truth. After peeing himself for the second time, Garou stammers that they would definitely have a good chance. Nevertheless, he is only one person, and it could get difficult against all the nations of the world. This is exactly what Light expected, and he then teleports to another location together with Garou. As soon as the wolf opens his eyes, they find themselves in Light's throne room, surrounded by a gigantic army of monsters, knights, and maids. Light steps forward slowly with Mei while everyone bows before him. He ascends his mighty throne and orders everyone to show their stats. We see that his entire army consists of at least 4-digit levels, going up to 9,999. Light asks Garou the question again, whether he believes Light would have a chance on the surface, but he can't even get a single word out. He realizes that they, with the Concord of Tribes back then, are responsible for this monstrosity, and that Light could wipe out the entire world in the blink of an eye. Light is truly a king of destruction, and Garou asks if he plans to become a god. God indeed doesn't sound bad to Light, and he accepts this path. With his gacha, he could either turn everything to hell or distribute infinite blessings. The world has the chance to prove which of the two it deserves by answering his questions. We see a flashback in which Light is back in his homeland with his LV-999 maids and runs to his parents, but to his horror, he discovers that his entire home village has been razed to the ground. 6 months later, he still has a glimmer of hope, because his siblings Els and Yum were never found, so they must still be alive somewhere. While he is mourning, he is interrupted by his knight Gold, who doesn't feel like sleeping outside and wants to leave quickly. The maid is in the process of correcting him to be more polite, and Light simply wonders if the two hate each other or secretly like each other. Gold thinks that being polite is exhausting and fake, and that Nemamu would also have no interest in sleeping outside. Nemamu, however, does not agree at all, because she would even sleep on mud or a dung heap if it meant being with Light. Gold replies that he would follow him into snowy mountains or even hot magma. Loyalty is what defines him, but Gold is supposedly concerned about Light's sleep hygiene, and for that very reason, they should never sleep outside. Nemamu has to agree, and Light now says that they should just see where they sleep later and gather information first. He now knows that his powers are effective here, but going to war without a plan would still be foolish. Gold agrees, and Nemamu adds that they now need to find out what each country is capable of. He is determined to send the entire world to ruin if the truth is corrupted. Then he unleashes his juggler mask and sets off after saying goodbye to his parents one last time. We see Light flying through the air with his servants, and the maid asks him what they are planning to do in Dagas. Gold corrects her and says she should be careful how she refers to him. Light says that on the surface he is called Dark and not Light. Without the name change, the All Nations Alliance would catch wind of it too quickly. Light's first step as Dark is to increase his adventurer rank in order to obtain useful information. His slaves agree with him, and then Nemamu sees something in the distance. It is the city of Dagas, and Gold is worried that he will stand out in the city, but Nemamu realizes that he would stand out anywhere. Suddenly, they encounter a robbery, and Light realizes that the surface is really dangerous. The robbers suddenly notice Gold's shiny gold armor, which is impossible to miss, and they threaten the people to come out. In the next second, they are tied up and the coachman and his child are rescued. As a thank you for the rescue, the coachman takes the adventurers to Dagas, and the child says that she has never seen a human who can knock down dwarves like that. She is completely amazed by the strength of the Gold Knight and the girl, but Nemamu says that their master Dark is even stronger than them. The man suspects that they are adventurers and want to go to Dagas to explore the dungeon, but Light replies that they still have to register as adventurers, which shocks the man and the girl. Light continues that they want to enroll in the guild in Dagas to rise in rank, and the coachman replies that this city is the perfect place for that. Dagas borders the human kingdom to the west and the elf kingdom to the south. Although there is much trouble between these countries, many adventurers come to Dagas because of its good dungeons. There are also many humans there, which is why the man is able to run a hotel for humans. They arrive at the city gate, and Light says goodbye to them and thanks them for the ride. The man introduces himself as Carnell and warmly invites him to stay at his hostel. As the two drive away in their carriage, The girl skeptically asks if there can really be such strong beginners, and Carnell agrees. In the city, the group walks through the alleys, and it is Gold and Nemumu's very first time on the surface. There are many weapon shops here with equipment to serve the many adventurers, and blacksmithing is also very popular in the Dwarf Kingdom. They enter the guild house and notice that there are many humans who want to join. Suddenly, an ugly, pale guy shows up, and everyone keeps their distance from him. Light realizes that even here, humans are discriminated against. At the reception desk, Nemumu is outraged that Master Dark has been assigned rank F, but the receptionist explains that everyone starts with rank F. Nemumu insists that Master Dark is special, and that rank S or higher would be more appropriate. In fact, Super Mega's rank would be best. Gold thinks that sounds a little sus. The woman at the reception desk tells them all to shut up and get lost. Light, of all people, apologizes and replies that rank F is perfectly adequate for him, and asks about registration. Back outside, Nemumu breaks down and cries about Light having to apologize because of her. Gold makes fun of her, and Light tells him to back off a little, but Gold just says the truth, which upsets Nemumu even more. They make their way to the human hostel, and Carnell and his daughter are happy to see Dark again. The group would like to stay here for the night, and Carnell welcomes them warmly and asks again if they have any special requests. In fact, Light has a whole wish list. He would like to rent the top floor for a whole month, and the staff should please not enter his floor during that time. He hands Carnell a full sack of gold, with which he could probably buy the entire hostel. He is willing to give even more, but the man shyly refuses. Light activates Silent, Magic Block, and Alarm. Now they are safe, and no one can spy on them anymore. Nemumu understands that they are pretending to be adventurers here, but expresses her concern that it could always be dangerous, and that they could protect Light. But Light gets a little angry and clenches his hand into a fist. He asks if Nemumu wants to take away his revenge, and then the whole room starts to vibrate, and Nemumu throws herself to her knees and apologizes for her insolence. Suddenly, Gold starts laughing and says that sometimes a man has to do things even if they are dangerous, and that her master wants to take his revenge himself and does not want to give it up. Light agrees with a grin and bends down to Nemumu to apologize. Nemumu apologizes again for her transgression and asks Light to renew her vow of allegiance. Suddenly, she takes his foot and kisses it. This is a sign of submission, and some even want it as a reward, but Light finds the whole thing a little uncomfortable. Gold interrupts the awkward mood and asks if this is a fetish. Nemumu bursts out and nervously explains that it is only a symbol of eternal loyalty to Light. Ashamed, Light removes himself from the conversation and slowly puts his shoe back on. The next morning, they walk through the market square, which is very busy. Light concludes that the dungeon must be really good. Immediately, there is whispering about Gold's sparkling armor and the hot Nemumu, but also about the guy with the creepy mask. Light thinks it suits Dark perfectly, but is perhaps a little too much for the city. While they are standing in line, Gold mentions that there are no elves to be seen far and wide. Light explains that it must be due to the dispute between the dwarves and elves over control of the dungeon. Nemumu says that it's a great observation, and Light is annoyed that she is so close to him all the time. But Nemumu is determined to protect Light at all costs. Suddenly, a mysterious figure appears and pushes in front of them in the line. Light observes the three hooded guys and realizes that the one with the luggage is a carrier. The second one is a little better trained, but not exactly top-notch either. The guy at the front, however, moves smoothly, even though he is carrying a huge weapon. It means he is quite strong. Light notices a group of little boys whispering about it and complaining, and Light bravely steps forward to tell the hooded guy that cutting in line is not okay. The blonde guy slowly turns around and asks if he just said that, which Light confirms without hesitation. The guy threatens him, saying he has no idea who he really is, but Light can't possibly know, since the guy is wearing a hood and hiding his face. Besides, if he's someone special, he shouldn't be doing something like this. Gold laughs and agrees with the statement. Nemumu says they're annoying and should finally get in line. The guy is about to draw his weapons and destroy the humans like little insects, but luckily for him, his partner stops him in time. They have another plan and shouldn't cause too much of a stir. He asks if he really wants to use his weapon here. They then go to the back and he insults Light and his group as maggots. The entire line thinks it's really cool that Light stood up for the humans, and they express their admiration. Gold laughs and notes that Light is particularly popular here. Suddenly, the little ones come up and thank Light personally. They didn't want to cause cause any trouble, so they didn't say anything. But Light asks them not to bow, as he did it for himself. Cutting in line is something that annoys everyone. The children think it's great that there are such nice people here. The little boy named Gimra then asks if Gold's armor is really made of real gold, which is something everyone here has been wondering all along. Gold laughs again, but Nemamu sternly asks why anyone would care about a soft metal like gold. Gimra is then silenced. Light explains that it's all part of Gold's knightly honor and loyalty ethos. Only Gold is worthy of his mission. Light thinks to himself that Gold helps him quickly gain notoriety as an adventurer. One of the boys then asks him if this is their first time in the dungeon. Light agrees and asks if it shows, which the boy confirms. This dungeon is much larger than others, and it is normal to spend the night inside. Since the group does not have sleeping bags with them, they must be new. Light thanks them for the tip, and the children apologize for not being able to teach them more. Just then, they are called in by a dwarf. They say goodbye and go ahead. Gold understands that their equipment has betrayed them, and Light says that he is used to item boxes. Next, it is their turn, and they enter the dungeon. Light talks about how he has never been in a dungeon other than the Abyss, and that they are everywhere and vary greatly. Gold adds that the little boy mentioned earlier that it is vast. Light continues that you have to analyze the core of a dungeon to discover its secret, something even Ellie can't do. According to Gold, if even Ellie can't do it, then Nemamu might as well forget about it completely. Light explains that the magic of a dungeon gets stronger the deeper you go, which leads to all kinds of things being created, such as traps and creatures. In addition, completely different biotopes are created. Compared to the surface, a dungeon is completely different, like a whole other world. The group stands at the edge and Gold enjoys the view. Nemamu can't sense any other people within a 100-meter radius. Light then activates his SS rank cards, Clairvoyance, Camouflage, and Flight, and the three of them fly over the landscape. Gold admires Light's power and is happy to be able to see something like this. Nemamu has to agree with Gold, even though she doesn't like to agree with him. Gold is sure that with Clairvoyance, they can find the right path and fly there invisibly at the same time. It's almost like cheating, but they have to save time. At the same time, the blonde guy below them fights a few goblins and violently tears them to pieces. He calls himself the genius who was accepted as the youngest knight of the White Elf Guard. His name is Coyote, and he carries the blood of the legendary master. The white-haired guy named Yanok tells him to calm down to save his strength for the 3rd level, but Coyote orders him to shut up. He was humiliated by these maggot-like humans. Even though he carries the blood of the maestro, it's all because of his level, but we see that he has a relatively high level of 1500, and Yanok mentions that with a level like that, he shouldn't be hiding. It far exceeds the maximum level of the elves. But Coyote is certain that he is a legendary hero, and that level 1500 should not be the maximum. He is determined to level up even higher, but his grief pains Yanok's heart. He mentions that he had to go into exile because his research was misunderstood. Coyote then orders him to finally level him up, and Yanok happily complies with the request. He is willing to pay any price for his research, and they are in the same boat. Coyote turns away from him and monologues that he will get rid of this dirty dark elf as soon as he is leveled up. Back with Light, we see how they have slain a group of orcs. The next plan is to collect the magic stones as proof that they have completed the 3rd level. It's time to return to the surface, and Light has also gotten very dirty. Motivated, Nemamu asks if she can wash the dirt off his body. Gold, on the other hand, claims that his armor is just as shiny as always. The group then flies through the air again on their way to the surface. Watching a beautiful sunset, they should slowly descend, as one of them stands out in particular. Light notices the children from earlier on the ground, surrounded by goblins. The 3 boys are at the front, and the mage girl supports them from behind. Since the enemies are only goblins, Gold believes they should not lose. Light agrees, and we see the boys defeat the goblins. They are in the process of collecting the magic stones when suddenly Light appears with his servants right in front of them. Light says that it is dangerous and that they should still look ahead in battle, but that it can also be dangerous from behind. Behind them was a bush snake. Its bite is not dangerous, but it immobilizes its victims. If the girl Mia had been bitten, their formation would have been completely ruined. Everyone thanks Light, but suddenly Nemamu notices an enemy nearby. A horde of bush wolves emerges from the forest, which normally live in forests and do not go out into the open. The children take off, but Light says it's okay. The bush wolves simply run past them and ignore them completely. They have run away from the real enemy, which is much more threatening. It slowly approaches them, smashing all the trees and causing the earth to shake. It is a giant mantis.